Yeah, I go live.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes, we are live now.
Okay. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone who is with us today. I want to say thank you for being with us today and supporting us. We are very happy to be a part of this webinar, and we hope this webinar will be valuable for every one of us. By the way, my name is Rawan Farash. I am from Palestine, and I will give you some introduction about our webinar, the occasion and the aims of our webinar today. I am a moderator with my colleague Batul. She is a moderator too, and she with us today. At first, I want to talk about our webinar, the occasion of course, the International Day of the Girls is an occasion to celebrate the limitless potential of young women worldwide. This year, the YW4A, instead through the webinar, which have the title of highlights the critical issues of violence against young women in digital spaces. Of course, young women are powerful against of change, and this webinar aims to harness their creativity and participation in addressing these challenges. We will focus on unique online experience of young women in Egypt, Kenya, Palestine, and South of Sudan. Of course, we all know that digital spaces have transformed the way we communicate and engage with the world. However, they have also become breeding grounds of various forms of violence against young women. Over the years, more so with the increased use of digital spaces during the COVID-19 pandemic and the popularization of interactive and live social media platforms and artificial intelligence, there has been an alarming rise of gender-based violence and harassment in online environments. And now we will talk about the topics we will discuss in this webinar. The webinar seeks to shed light on the issues young women face online, including but not limited to. First, we have cyberbullying. 2, intimidation. 3, personalized attack on women in leadership. We have also harassment and body shaming. We have also online grooming. Of course, this webinar have many of objectives and many goals. We want to talk about these aims. Number 1, to raise awareness by increasing understanding among young women about the various forms of violence they may encounter online. 2, to equip young women with the knowledge and tools to stay safe and resilient in digital spaces. 3, to encourage young women to support one another and create a network of digital allies. 3, to advocate for change by developing a list of actionable solutions to address online violence against young women. Now I will move to my colleague Batul, she will take a small brief about the speakers and of course about herself.
Thank you, Rawan. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here too. I will introduce myself at first. I'm Batul Sanad, feminist from Bethlehem in West Bank, in Palestine. I'm a trainer in the field of women's rights and campaign under the YW4A. Also, I delegate for the YW4A in Women Deliver conference of 2023 in Rwanda. I will start to introduce the speakers today. We have Dr. Kuya is a public health specialist trained in public health and epidemiology. He currently works as a senior policy advisor for strategic partnerships at the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Kenya, where is responsible for civil society strengthening, global health, diplomacy, as well gender equality. And Hadir Jamal, she is a young woman and a women rights activist in Egypt who have been volunteering in the civil society since she was 15. She is leading a development association in Egypt. Then also Agnes, women's rights activist and a tour champion YWCA, YW4A in South Sudan, project officer and chief project officer at Caring Hearts in initiative for community development. Also Scholastica Caria. She is a seasoned gender specialist with 20 years of experience, serves as a gender specialist for MicroSave, consulting in the East and the Southern Africa region. She has a strong background in international NGOs. And Hibatullah, a young woman and a champion under the YW4A in Egypt. Hiba is a civil society, a volunteer, and is actively engaged in various initiatives and training programs to empower youth and promote safe cities. At the last, Harriet, a young woman and a gender advisor at the YWCA South Sudan. Harriet has a 5 years experience on handling cases of GBV and psychological support to victims in the camp and communities. She is also a trainer with a special focus on young women leadership and advocacy. Thank you all. Thank you all speakers. Thank you all participants. We will start with topic one. The topic one from digital violence. We have a question. We have 20 minutes. What are the different types of violence that young women face online? This is a question for Harriet. You have 3 minutes. Let's start. Harriet?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the moderator and the participants. When we talk about online violence, it is any act of abuse that happen on the internet, and it can happen across devices that are connected to web, like phones. It can be computers and even tablets. In our context in South Sudan, there has been a very little research done on online violence that young women experience. There is I was saying there is very little research done on violence that young women experience online. There is organization a resilience organization in partnership with the National of Harassment and Abuse. according to their experience, but it is very hard for developing countries to stop this, and even reporting itself is very hard, and the government doesn't have a law that hold perpetrators accountable. Then about the different types of online violence, we have cyber bullying. Nowadays, men have taken technology and internet as a tool of causing embarrassment and humiliation against young women. They are sharing private and personal information online just to cause embarrassment to these young women. There was a scenario, an example I came across in 2019. It was online. A man from the United States came to different developing countries like Uganda, like in Kenya, and even in South Sudan. He was in a relationship with these young women. He came over to visit them, and he slept with all these young women he was dating. And after 6 months, when he went back, he posted all the videos and the pictures he took with these young women, causing embarrassment to them. And actually, I really don't know the credibility, but it is what I came across online in 2019. It was only Facebook. But after that, nothing has been posted about the story. So another thing is the emotional abuse. There are so many young women sharing their experiences, how they are harassed online, especially by their ex-boyfriends and other men. During our Fair Space operation, most of them came up sharing their experiences. For example, one was telling us how she was harassed and threatened by her ex-boyfriend because she left this guy and moved on with another person. So it is something that is really touching, but there are no proper laws that hold the perpetrators accountable. So young women are continuing to suffer from this kind of violence. Then we also have body shaming. There are so many young women, when they post their pictures on their social media, they attract negative comments from men, which affect them psychologically. It happened with one of our young women.
Okay, she is offline. The internet.
Harriet, you can hear
Good.
us? Okay, so Agnes, you can answer, share with us your opinion about same question. What are the different types of violence that young women faced online? Okay, Agnes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. I'm called Night Agnes Swani. I am a TOT champion under the YW4A, South Sudan. And also I work for Caring Hearts Initiative for Community Development, South Sudan, as a project officer. In addition to that, I also advocate for the rights of women and girls in South Sudan. Thank you so much. Happy International Girl Child Day. I am happy to commemorate this day with all of you online. And I know we will have a very excellent experience to share. First of all, allow me to speak in the context of South Sudan. In South Sudan, young women and girls experience a lot of online violence. We have like 3 of them that I know that we face in South Sudan in our context. One of which is the cyberbullying. that happens online almost daily. And then the second one is online harassment. This one happens mostly between partners who fall in love online with an intention of gaining something from the other gender, especially the women and the girls. I have had an experience of where a lady fell in love with a man, not knowing that the man is a scammer. He scammed the lady. They fell in love and shared pictures, and even not only pictures, but nude pictures, pictures that are not good for public consumption. Unfortunately, the man had a different ideology or interest on this girl. So when they fell in love, this guy he started threatening this girl online. If you don't send me money, this amount of money, I am going to expose you. Thank you. The man threatened this girl and said, if you don't share with me if you don't share with me the money I'm asking from you, I'm going to share your pictures and you will have problem with the public. That is what she did. She had to send money to this guy for almost 6 months. When this man says, I need $1,000, this woman will definitely do, because she doesn't want her personality to be exposed to the world. This lady got harassed for almost 1 year, not until she got tired and exposed the issue to some women champions who can help her on how she can overcome it. So they tried to help this girl with advice until she decided to say, if you want to expose me, I am not ready for your game. And indeed, she did it. This lady had to go offline for almost 2 years. She changed her Facebook. You see, you can see the level at which girls and women go through online. Gender-based violence does not only happen physically, but also online. It happens to us in South Sudan, like see, or a law that protects the rights of girls in terms of online harassment. Secondly, we have the blackmailing and defamation of these young women. Okay, blackmailing us on things that we don't even know. They create things on our name just to threaten us, to spoil our names, so that we will have that less respect from people. So these are some of the violences that women go through or they experience in my context of South countries in the world. Thank you so much. I am welcoming the second question. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Hadir, you can share your opinion and same question. Hadir, you can hear me? Hadir.
مبسوطة جدا إن أنا بشارك معاكم وبشكر كل القائمين الويبينار دوت مع بعض.
هدير أنا آسفة بس صوتك هابط شوي، ممكن تعليه؟
واطي.
مش سامعين.
هدير أوكي. خلي هدير ممكن if you can هدير join us before after Hiba, maybe your voice. Hiba, you can join us to share your opinion, please, because Hadir maybe have a problem.
Okay.
Hiba. Okay, thank you Hadir.
الصوت واضح؟
واضح قوي.
تمام. كنوع من أنواع العنف عندنا التهديد والابتزاز، زي تهديد الفتيات ذات الشعبية عن آرائهم. اللينكات كتير لأهداف مادية أو جسدية أو جنسية. على سبيل المثال، وده تعرضت لي واحدة من صديقاتي، إنه في بعت لها لينك وقال لها أنا معايا، قبل ما يبعت لها اللينك قال لها أنا معايا كل صورك الشخصية، ولو تسمع كلامي ادخلي على اللينك ده. فهي طبعا اتوترت واضطرت تدخل على اللينك ده، وللاسف هو ما كانش عنده اي من معلوماتها، ولكن لما دخلت على اللينك ده بقى عنده كل معلوماتها وسحب المعلومات اللي هو عايزها وبقى بيساومها. وكمان نوع من انواع عندنا التحرش، زي انه مثلا نلاقي كومنت مسيء، او نلاقي بوست اصلا مسيء، او ان حد يدخل لك على الخاص ويبعت لك صور غير اخلاقيه وغير مناسبه. كمان عندنا تنمر وكمان اثاره بقت يعني بشعه جدا على الفتيات، زي ان هو بيخليهم منعزلين وكمان كارهين لنفسهم ولهيئتهم. وكنوع من انواع التنمر في السخريه، انه مثلا واحده تنزل صوره ليها او تنزل رايها فيحصل في سخريه على كلامها او حتى على صورتها، بعد كده تصبح ان هي كارهه لنفسها ولهيئتها حتى، وتحس طبعا ده هيقلل ثقتها في نفسها، وهيأثر بالتالي على حياتها وتطوير في الشغل، حتى هيأثر على قدرتها الإبداعية، وممكن بعد كده. تمام. عندنا آخر حاجة كنوع من أنواع العنف هو الاستمالة، زي حب الانستا عن طريق الانترنت، زي إن واحد يكلم واحدة ويبتدوا يتعرفوا على بعض، وبعد كده يبين لها إن هو مهتم بيها وهو عليها وإن هو يكلمها عن مصلحتها ثم يبدأ بالطلبات، إنه ابعتي طب صورتك، وتبتدي طلبات تدلي بحاجات غير مناسبة. وبعد كده تبدأ الابتزازات، إنه أنا معايا صورتك، أنا معايا حاجات كتير قوي عنك، ففي الوقت أقدر أبتز لأهداف جنسية لأهداف مادية. وأكتر حاجة منتشرة حاليا في مجتمعنا في مصر أنا شايفة إن هي التنمر بشكل كبير، فعلا بيأثر على نفسية كتير من البنات، وده بيفقدنا عضو فعال في المجتمع. شكرا.
Thank you, Hiba. Hadir, again, you can share with us your answer. Hadir, you can hear me? I hope your voice. Yes, you can hear you.
أول حاجة أنا بحب أشكر المنسقة الويبينار، وكل إن الويبينار أصلا اتعمل إن هو حاجة مهمة جدا. لو هتكلم عن العنف الإلكتروني ف
صوتك مسموع.
أوكي. العنف الإلكتروني عندنا أنا بقسمه لكذا حاجة زي ما كل زميلاتي قالت، في التحرش وفي التنمر وفي الابتزاز الإلكتروني، وأنا بشوف إن الابتزاز دوت من أصعب الأنواع في العنف الإلكتروني اللي بتتعرض ليه. يعني ممكن الابتزاز الإلكتروني دوت يعني زي مصطلح بسيط ليه كده، هو التعبير الدارج لجريمة التهديد. المقصود هو إن إحنا نستعمل القوة أو العنف عشان نحصل على منفعة، سواء بقى طلب مال أو فعل مخالف للقانون أو منافي للأخلاق. يعني وأكتر ناس عرضة للابتزاز الإلكتروني هم السيدات والنساء ويليهم الأطفال. أنا كهدير عندي تجربة عشرتها فعلا، كانت موجودة، حصلت معايا بالفعل. أنا شغالة في جمعية خيرية اسمها ورود صغيرة، أنا مدربة في التمكين الاقتصادي، وكنت بقوم ثانية واحدة. وكنت بقوم بعمل نشاط في الأنشطة ديت مع فتيات من الموجودة معانا. واثناء التدريب دوت بيكون لمده 10 ايام. ففي بنت غابت 3 ايام متتاليه ورا بعض، فبالتالي انا اتصلت اشوف هي ما جاتش ليه. فردت عليا والدتها وقالت لي ان هي بنعاقبها. فقلت لها طب انت بتعاقبيها ليه؟ قالت لي عشان خاطر في ولد كلمها على الفيسبوك وبيهددها بصورها. فقلت لها طيب معلش ممكن بس تجيلي الجمعيه ابتدي يعني اعرف المشكله بشكل احسن بحيث ان انا لو اقدر اساعدكم. جات لي فعلا هي والبنت وورتني شات صور للبنت هو بعتها. الصور اصلا مفبركه. بس سواء كده او كده يعني هو سالتها طب هل انت اتخذتي اجراء تجاه الولد دوت؟ قالت لي لا انا ما اتخذتش، انا مش عارفه اصلا انا المفروض ايه الاجراءات اللي انا اخدها عشان خاطر اعرف ان هو يبطل يعمل ده. طيب انت معاقبه بنتك ليه؟ قالت لي هو انا معاقباها كده. طب انت المفروض تدعميها، يعني انت تساليها هل ده صح او هل ده غلط، هي عملت ده او لا، مش تعاقبيها من غير ما تعرفي اصلا هو ده صح ولا لا. قالت لي لا هو كده، وهي البنت مضروبه ومصابه بجروح في وشها وفي جسمها من اخوها ومن باباها. في حين ان الولد اللي بيهددها لسه بره موجود، ما حصلش يعني ليه اي اجراء. فانا ابتديت اوجهها وقلت لها ايه الخطوات اللي تقدر تعملها انها تقدر تجيب حق بنتها، والولد اللي قام بالابتزاز دوت ياخد عقابه. آه، بالفعل اتوجهت لاسم الشرطه وعملت بلاغ، وبعدين راحت المديريه. هناك في عندنا وحده متخصصه للبلاغات عن اي حوادث بتحصل على الانترنت سواء تحرش او ابتزاز او تنمر. وفعلا قاموا بدورهم كويس جدا والسلطات استجابت وفعلا تم القبض على الولد ده. فيعني انا شايفه ان اكتر حاجه احنا محتاجين ليها اكتر من ان الحكومه تاخد اجراءات وقوانين، ان احنا نعمل وعي كافي للبنات حوالينا انها ازاي تقدر تاخد حقها.
thank you هدير، شكرا لك كتير هدير. أنا آسفة bad experience. Now روان you can share your opinion. روان my friend. Okay, you can hear me روان? You can share your opinion. This is a question for you too.
يس هلا بالبداية أنا بدي أحكي عن أكثر أنواع العنف خلينا نجي نحكي على مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي المنتشر عندنا. أكيد التنمر يعني صار كتير منتشر هاي الأيام خصوصا فلسطين، الابتزاز الإلكتروني. الإشي اللي حابة أحكي عنه أكتر إنه إحنا فعليا عم بحكي عن حدود فلسطين، أنا إنه إحنا ما عندنا وعي كافي في حيث إنه أنا كفتاة تعرضت لهذا النوع من الابتزاز أو هذا النوع من التهديد، أنا ما عندي المعلومات الكافية وما عندي الوعي الكامل اللي يخليني ألجأ للجهات المتخصصة. ما عندنا وعي بكيفية حل هاي المشاكل، لأنه أصلاً يعني هاي كثقافة مجتمعية خلينا نحكي أو كثقافة دول مش كتير بيحكوا عنها ولا كتير ناس بتتعرض إلها، لأنه حسب عاداتنا وتقاليدنا وثقافاتنا إنه هاي الأشياء عيب مثلا نحكي فيها أو مش لازم نحكي فيها أو كل هاي الأمور. أنا أكتر إشي يعني بحب إنه نطلع منه من هذا الويبينار بخصوص هذا الموضوع إنه إحنا فعلا نطلع باستراتيجيات يكون لها دور كبير كيف احنا نزيد الوعي لدى الشابات بكل دول العالم، كيف انهم يحموا حالهم، كيف انهم يكون عندهم استراتيجيات بحيث انه ما يعتبروا هذا الموضوع تهديد لهم او لحياتهم، لا ياخذوا زمام الامور ويعملوا يعني انهم يكونوا قياديات في انهم يغيروا الواقع عن طريق التوعيه، عن طريق البحث في الموضوع، انه انا ببحث وين انا ممكن الجا او انا ايش ممكن اعمل، انه انا بالنهايه مش انسانه ضعيفه، انا انسانه الي كيان والي راي والي مسؤوليات وعلي واجبات، فبالتالي ما بخلي هاي المواضيع تأثر علي وما بخلي هاي المواضيع تدمر نفسيتي أو تدمر مثلا الحياة الاجتماعية اللي أنا بعيشها. فبعتبر إنه أهم خطوة في الأشياء اللي إحنا بنتعرض إلها عبر السوشيال ميديا أو منصات التواصل الاجتماعي هي التوعية الصحيحة للشابات. وشكرا.
Okay, شكرا لك روان. Thank you. I agree with you, all of you. It's very important topic because our life in the internet today. Okay, before
أنا حياتنا على
going
الإنترنت
to
الآن.
شو again Monica.
مرة أخرى يا مونيكا.
Monica, we can hear you.
مونيكا نستطيع سماعك الآن.
اوكي الترجمة شغالة مونيكا، احنا سامعين الترجمة.
It's okay, Monica. Okay, before we're going to second topic, this
لأن
question for everyone. For everyone in webinar. We have a problem, technical problem, maybe with the translator, the sound. You can hear me, all of you? Okay. So before going to second topic, this is a question for everyone in webinar.
هذا
Okay.
سؤال للجميع على الويبينار.
You can ask, you can answer in question and answer under the screen. You can see and go to the answer, the question. The question is, how can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence? Okay, you can hear me. I can't listen to you. Okay, you have a poll. Select one answer, please. Which type of violence is more prevalent in your community? The question, which type of violence is more prevalent in your community? Select one, please. You can. Okay, you can hear me, everybody? Okay. So everybody answer this question. Okay. Good poll and answer again. You have any problem to share your answer? If you have any problem, please tell me. Sorry, the mic. Okay, so 3,800% see the cyberlink is most public in your country. This, sorry, if you have any answer, you have. Maybe I have a problem with my mic. You can hear me? Maybe I have a problem. Tell me if you can listen me, please, because I can't listen.
صوتك واضح.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we can now go to topic 3 with Rawan. Thank you all for your opinion.
Okay. Hi again. We will move now to topics number 2, which talk about promoting body positivity and combating body shaming. We have 2 questions for everyone, and we want answer. The first question is talk about how can we encourage a culture of body positivity on digital platforms, or what are the roles can young women as individuals or NGOs play in addressing online violence against young women? We want to hear from Hiba, please. Hiba, if you are ready, we want to hear your opinion.
سامعني؟ تمام. أول حاجة هبتدي بالنظرة المشوهة للجسد، وإنه عنده نظرة مشوهة ده بيأثر عليه وبيخليه عرضة جدا إنه يقع في الابتزاز في أي حاجة، لأن هو
هبة عفوا عن المقاطعة.
لا أنا ما استحقش الحلو، ما استحقش المعاملة الكويسة، لا أنا
هبة صوتك بيروح وبيجي.
محتاجين ان احنا نغير الحوار الداخلي. تمام. ان احنا ندعم نفسنا، وكمان نحاول ان احنا نبقى مع المحيطين بينا اللي هم فعلا بيدعمونا وبيخلوا رضانا عن نفسنا في اعلى درجات. تمام. مع اثار المشوهه للجسد هتكلم عن اثارها، الآثار العقلية والبدنية. أولاً صعوبة التركيز، أنت دايماً بتفكر عامل إزاي، هيقولوا إيه على شكلي النهاردة، هيقولوا إيه على كلامي، فكل ده هيخليني عندي صعوبة تركيز. ألجأ للعزلة وهبعد عن أي حاجة تسلط عليا الضوء، زي إن أنا أكون متميز أو إن أنا أطور حاجة. فكل ده هبعد عنه، لأن مش ينتقدني. تمام. فقلنا صعوبة التركيز، قلنا العزلة، وكمان هيساعد من ممارسة أنشطة تمام تتطلب إظهار الجسد، زي السباحة مثلا، زي الرقص، زي حتى أنا أروح للدكتور، أو حتى مرضي. ودي كلها اضطرابات لو ما تمش القضاء عليها أو معالجتها هتؤدي لصحية. حابة إن أنا أنوه عن حاجة، المسلمين نظرتنا عن نفسنا، الإعلام ليه دور، أسرتنا ليها دور، أصدقائنا إن إحنا بنتأثر بس بكلام الناس، عندنا حوار داخلي قوي نفسنا.
Thank you هبة. الإنترنت عندك إيه شوي؟
هقول دلوقتي النصايح.
أوكي، بس حاولي إنه تكوني قريبة شوي للصوت للمايك، لأنه إحنا مش عم نسمع كتير منك.
روان لو بتتكلمي فأنا مش سامعاكي.
أوكي، في عندك مشكلة بالصوت بالإنترنت، حاولي تكوني قريبة شوي من اللابتوب حتى إنه نقدر نسمعك.
أوكي. هقول بعض النصايح اللي ممكن نطبقها. أولاً لما تكوني جعانة كلي، لما تكوني تعبانة تمام، وتعاملي مع الأشخاص اللي بيدعموا نقاط قوتك، زودوا شعورك بالذاتي وتزودوا رضاكي عن نفسك. تمام. تقبلي صورتك واحترمي صورتك اللي انت ورثتيها وفكري نفسك دايما ان الجمال مش بس مظهر، زي ثقتك في نفسك، زي رضاك بذاتك، كل ده جمال مش بس
عفوا
مظهر.
كتير
تمام؟
تعليقات بتيجي انه مش سامعينك.
وكمان الطعام الصحي يبقى مفيد ليكي، هيحسن من مظهرك، هيحسن من بشرتك.
هبة،
لذلك بفكركم انه الحياه قصيره جدا، فما تشغلوش نفسكم بيها. افكر انه الاكل ده فيه قد ايه، الناس لما اطلع هيقولوا عليا ايه، هيشوفوني ازاي. فكري في حاجه تستثمريها وحاجه تكون فعلا
هبة لو
ده
سمحتي
اداه تعيشي بيها وانه مش بس مظهر.
التعليقات على الشات بتحكي انه صوتك بقطع الانترنت عليك كتير
ممارسة
ضعيف.
الرياضة هتزود من احترامك الذاتي.
هي مش سامعيننا. هبة شكرا كثير إلك، اسفين انه احنا عم بنقاطعك لكن صوتك مش واضح، الاغلب مو سامع صوتك. رح ننتقل. We will move to another person. Scholar, please, can you give us your opinion about this question?
Thank you very much, and greetings to everyone who is watching and listening. First of all, probably we need to understand what exactly is this body positivity. When we talk about body positivity, we are basically talking about having a very positive attitude on your physical, you know, the way you are as a person, as a young girl. And we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we need to do as young girls? I know my colleague has talked explicitly about what we can do as young girls to have a positive body, you know, a positive influence on our bodies. I would want to touch very briefly on the role of NGOs and other organizations in making us have a positive body feeling. One, we need to understand that one of the reasons as to why we have negative image of ourselves is because of the unrealistic understanding of a good body as portrayed by the media, as portrayed by the social media, or even other celebrities. They come aloud telling us that for you to appear beautiful, you must look like so-and-so. Your body size should be this. The way you appear should be this. And that is what influences the way we view our bodies. And we all appreciate that one of the key issues of online violence is body shaming. They tell you that if you're big enough, then you're not beautiful enough. If you're dark or if you're extremely brown, then you're not beautiful enough. So what then can we do to combat that? One of the things that we need to do is actually to promote, and that is of course the role of NGOs and other organizations, it's to promote positive role models. When we talk about positive role models, we are talking about people who are comfortable in their bodies, irrespective of their sizes, irrespective of the colors, irrespective of how they look at. Let's promote positive role models as organizations so that they talk to young girls, so that the young girls can see that there are people who appreciate their bodies the way they are, irrespective of how they look. Then the other one is about educating and raising awareness. That is, of course, educating the young people that their bodies will always be smart the way they look, that you don't have to compare yourself with somebody else, that you don't have to be the size of another model, you know, the so-called, you know, the celebrities who think that maybe being so small is the definition of beauty. So it's about creating awareness. The other one that organizations can do to promote positivity, body positivity, is basically to create safe spaces, creating safe spaces where young girls can talk about their bodies, where young girls can actually talk about issues about their bodies, and they can help people to redirect them into having a positive esteem, positive attraction towards their bodies, and of course, encouraging respectful communication about bodies without being shamed, and where young girls can actually talk about their issues, where young girls can talk about their fears when it comes to body. The other one is that organizations can come up with channels of reporting and blocking tools that are used to shame people based on their bodies. And here we are talking about having, we could even have artificial intelligence tools that picks on people who shame bodies and ensure that these reports are well taken into account and responded to with immediate effect. The other one, of course, is community guidelines. When we talk about community guidelines, we are talking about setting up online communities that dictate the terms of communication. And one of them is basically picking up on body shaming as one of the non-to-do things, and to ensure that girls can speak comfortably about their bodies, set guidelines that dictates communication, and allow people to speak in a positive and respectful language. Of course, the other one is collaboration with experts. When I talk about experts, I'm talking about body image experts, people who can help our young girls appreciate their bodies, people who can help young girls build their self-esteem, regardless of the shape of your body, regardless of the size of your body, regardless of how you look, you appear. And these experts can be able to bring young girls together and reassure them that they look beautiful the way they do. Of course, the other one is organizations can encourage robust media literacy programs. When we talk about media literacy programs, we are talking about programs that continuously educate the young girls to be able to analyze and to interpret language that is likely to make them have low self-esteem based on their bodies. We are talking about literacy programs that can help young girls discern areas and spaces that are not good for their esteem. The other thing that NGOs and organizations can do to build positivity, body positivity, is of course collaborations and partnership with organizations that can collectively build the esteem of girls, can collectively do counseling, and especially for young girls whose esteem has been dimmed because of the violence that comes online, the body shaming. So we can collaborate with organizations that do counseling, that offer psychological help, and of course, organizations that can also deal with issues of mental health. Let's agree that body shaming can actually cause depression, can mess around with your mental health. So when we talk about collaboration and network, we are saying that we can partner with those organizations, identify people who've been violated online, and bring psychological help to them. The other, of course, better of it may not be organizational, but we are talking about parental involvement as an organization, and many other like-minded organizations. We need to create awareness in parents' forums so that the parent becomes the first person to give assurance to the young girls that their bodies are good enough the way they are, that our young girls should not be ashamed of their bodies, and that can only come through affirmation from parents. So what do organizations have to do to build the capacity of parents so that the parents then become the first insurance and assurance for the young girls? And of course, the final one is regular awareness campaigns. And this is something that you can do online, you know, through social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that, talking about creating awareness to the young girls so that they always feel encouraged to love their bodies the way they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we will move on to the second question, and we want Agnes to say her opinion. Please, Agnes, can you give us a successful examples of online platforms that actively combat online harassment? If there is any platform.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you once again for allowing me to put my inputs. How can we encourage a culture of body positivity on digital platforms? Here,
okay,
young women and young girls will promote they should stop sharing nude pictures with friends on social media, with people whom they don't know, even if you know the person. Okay, you're not supposed to share your pictures anyhow, because at the end of the day, he or she will turn it against you. Secondly, we as women and young girls, we should always learn to be our sister keepers. When we see anything that is roaming around online, we should learn how to protect our sisters from every violence that is being put on them on social media for our sisters. Okay, as women and girls, we should stop posting. Are we together?
ترجمة رجعت. We have a problem.
Yes, we can promote positive.
Against, can you please
are we together?
Off your camera?
Can I go on?
Okay, Against, you can talk now.
Yeah, the other point is, as women and girls, we should learn to post. We should learn to post educative posts on social media. There are so many important things that we can put online that can change our lives. Posting things that will attract focus or will attract bad people into our lives, and at the end of the day, our rights are being violated. At the end of the day, they will use our post to understand who we are, okay? When you act responsibly online, this is not the type of a person that I can bully, I can hack, or I can harass online. And when we talk about the NGOs, they can address these issues of online violences. One is they should empower women on how they can protect themselves, and this can be done through civic education, okay? One of it is data protection, a training on data protection. These NGOs should involve trainings on how women can protect their data online, how they can protect themselves online. We are happy that we are always trained on how we can protect our rights. But unfortunately, most women, even me, I don't have the knowledge of how I can protect my data online to avoid cyberbullying. You get? And also, there is need for more women to be trained in the ICT, in the ICT networks. There is need for women to get involved in becoming ICT experts, so that they will be there to protect the other women that are not are not experts in protecting their data in case of any cyberbullying. Okay, women should also get involved in, there is a network that I have in my country that is called fact checking. I have seen that most of the people that work there are men. Okay, so I personally will take the initiative to encourage more young women to get involved in that network and check out things that are related to cyberbullying online. I think this is basically what I can say for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Agnes. Okay, before we move to the third topics, we have a small activity now. We have a question to everyone, and we want to answer it on a mirror screen. It will appear now, I think. The question is, how can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence? You can answer it by write your notes on the sticky note on the screen. The screen will appear now, or we have a link, Monica, to the mural. Okay, I will repeat the question to write your answer in sticky notes. How can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence? Okay, the link is on the chat. Please, you click on the link and answer the question, please. Is everybody there? Okay, I will repeat the question. How can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence? Okay, until now we have two notes to answer. Okay. ما في صوت لأنه عم بيكتبوا الملاحظات. أوكي. Thank you all. I will read some of the notes you write. Okay, just a moment. Okay, being each other keeper by not being a part of the move, shaming on online platforms. We have also from peer groups for continued support. We have also by joining in camping against online violence, by education them on forms of online violence and causes, and also creating awareness for them to know where to report when violated. Bravo. Okay, we have also through education again and empowering young women. We have also most of comment is about education. Okay, and this is important. Yes, when we talk about the education, it's very important to us. We have also stand up for any victims online and build a strong counter-attack team. Okay. You all see the sticky note, right? سامعين؟ Hi everyone. Okay. We have a lot of sticky notes and we don't have a lot of time to talk about all of them. So we will move to the topics number 3, okay? Topics number 3 will be with Patul.
Thank you, Rawan. Topic number 3 about developing digital resilience. Question is, how can young women support each other? Again, this question again. Support each other and build networks to counter online violence.
بتقول صوتك مش طالع. You are mute.
Okay, sorry everyone. Topic 3 about developing digital resilience. Question is, how can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence? This is a question for Hadir. You can hear me, Hadir?
Oh,
Hadir, oh,
أهلا.
okay. You can answer this question.
اوكي. انا هتكلم ان انا هنا ازاي قمت بدوري كأن انا ادعم بنات كتير في مواضيع العنف الالكتروني، خاصة الابتزاز. انا عملت المبادرة اسمها ما تخافيش، كانت من شهر 12 22 قائمة حتى الآن. المبادرة ديت كانت بتستهدف حاجتين: البنات البنات والأولياء الأمور. كنت بتكلم مع البنات وأولياء الأمور إيه هي الخطوات اللي يقدروا ياخدوها في حين تعرضهم لأي عنف إلكتروني، ابتزاز إلكتروني، تنمر. إيه هي الإجراءات والخطوات اللي يقدروا ياخدوها عشان خاطر يقدروا ياخدوا حقهم. لأن إحنا عندنا اوريدي فعلا قوانين، لكن ما عندناش وعي كافي بأن هم إزاي يقدروا يستغلوا القوانين ديت وياخدوا حقهم. فكانت المبادرة دي أول بوينت فيها إن أنا بنشر الوعي إزاي أخلي أي بنت أو أي حد يتعرض للابتزاز أو التحرش أو العنف الإلكتروني بصورة عامة يقدر ياخد حقه. تاني حاجة كانت وعي الأولياء الأمور أو الأبهات والأمهات إزاي يقدروا يتعاملوا مع أولادهم اللي تعرضوا للابتزاز أو العنف الإلكتروني، لأن في أهالي كتير بتتصرف مع أولادهم بطريقة غلط، وده بينتج عنه يعني آثار مش كويسة نهائيا. كان عندنا في مصر قضية مشهورة جدا لبنت من طنطا اسمها بسنت خالد، عندها 17 سنة، في 5 شباب من عندها في البلد، لأن طنطا عندنا بلد ريفية شوية. قاموا بابتزازها، خدوا صورها وركبوها على صور فاضحة ونشروها في البلد عندهم كلهم، وكانوا أهل البنت غير داعمين ليها نهائيا، يعني كانوا فضلوا يضربوها ويحبسوها، وفضلت تتهان منهم كتير منهم ومن البلد، حتى أهلها ما كانوش داعمين ليها. في الآخر ده وصل إن البنت أخدت حبة اسمها حبة غلة وانتحرت وماتت. فدي كانت قضية مشهورة جدا عندنا. اوريدي فعلا القانون حكم على الولاد ديت، في 3 منهم خدوا 15 سنة وفي 2 خدوا 5 سنين. بس لو كان الأهل عندهم وعي ازاي يقدروا يتعاملوا بنتهم وما يعاقبوهاش بالطريقة ديت وما يفضلوش يهاجموها ويعايروها ان هي غلط، مع انها حاولت كذا مرة تثبت ان انا مش ده، انا متربية، انا ما عاملش دوت، كانوا قدروا ساعتها ان هم يدعموها وان هم يتصرفوا معاها صح، ما كانتش وصلت انها تنتحر. بس هارجع وأقول سواء هي أي حد سواء بعت الصور أو لأ أو عمل حاجة ديت أو ما عملهاش، مش من حق أي حد إن هو يجي يبتزه، إن هو يعمل يبعت له فلوس أو يعمل تصرف تاني مش كويس. فكانت المبادرة بتاعتي شغالة على النقطة ديت، كان بالشراكة مع جمعية تانية، كان في اسكندرية، استهدفنا كذا منطقة في اسكندرية، في العصافرة والمنظرة والعوايد والعمرية، كذا منطقة في كانت كذا منطقة في اسكندرية، وقدرت إن أنا أوصل لعدد مستهدفين كويس، سواء يعني توصلت لحوالي 100 بنت مع أولياء أمورهم، يعني 100 بنت قصاد 100 أب أو 100 أم. وانا شايفه ان انا الحمد لله قدرت يعني اغير تفكيرهم في بوينت كتير، لان انا اكيد كنت باخد الاول انطباعاتهم، لو حد من ذويهم متعرض لحاجه زي كده ايه رد الفعل اللي هو هيكون اللي هيتعمل. وبعد الندوات التوعيه اللي انا كنت بديها لهم باخد رايهم تاني، لقيت ان في تغير كبير في الاراء، وفي يعني بقى عندهم وعي اكتر ايه الخطوات اللي يدوها، وبقوا متحمسين بقى لاي حد اتعرض لحاجه زي كده ان هو اوريدي فعلا بيتوجه لاقرب اسم شرطه او اقرب مكان ليه، ويبتدي يوجه يبلغ في حاجات زي كده. فانا مبسوطه ان انا قدرت اكون جزء صغير من اللي يقدروا يدعموا البنات في قضايا مهمه زي كده، وان انا اكون سبب وعي ليهم. انا اوريدي المبادره لسه شغاله وغالبا مش هتقف، حابة أوصل لعدد أكبر وأكبر بس. شكرا.
شكرا لك هدير، شكرا لك. Thank you Hadir again. Okay, this question also to Harriet. Harriet, you can hear me?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harriet.
Yeah,
you can share your opinion with us.
When women support each other and build networks to counter online violence, I would say experience sharing at safe spaces, or if there are no safe spaces, it is a very good idea to create safe spaces so that young women will be able to share their experience of how they are dealing with the issues online and how they can be able to support each other. If a young woman is able to share her experience of how she has been harassed and how she was able to cope up from that, another young woman will be able to take that experience from her and also build on. Then another thing is awareness creation on social about the use of social media. Young women should be able to, partners or NGOs should be able to create awareness on the use of social media so that they will know what to do exactly in social media, because some young women are caught up by harassment due to misuse of digital platforms, like maybe getting lovers online. But if awareness is created, they will be able to know where and how they are able, how they can be able to get lovers. Then another thing is encouraging one another, giving positive comments online, anything that is related to ending gender-based violence. If it is posted online, young women should be encouraged to support the idea so that the perpetrators will sign off from bullying. Because when one person posts something related to ending gender-based violence and the rest of the young women stay back, it will give more room for perpetrators to bully them online. That is basically my input. Thank you.
Harriet, you can hear us? Your voice. Okay, thank you, Harriet. Hiba, you can answer this question again. How can young women support each other and build networks to counter online violence?
تمام. تقدر البنات إن هي توفر بيئة آمنة لبعضهم البعض عن طريق إن هم يعملوا مجموعات مغلقة أو مجموعات خاصة، ويكون مسؤول عنهم متخصصين، وفي المجموعات دي يبقوا بيدعموا بعضهم، حتى مش بس المتخصص بس هو اللي بيدولهم تيبس أو إن هو بس اللي بيدعمهم، لا هم يدعموا بعضهم، وكمان يشاركوا القصص. مثلا أنا تعرضت لقصة ما وحصل معايا كذا كذا وتغلبت عليها، حتى لو ما تغلبتش عليها مشاركتك بس للقصة أصلا ده بيخلي غيرك ما يقعش فيها، فأنتي بتزيدي وعي. تمام. وممكن كمان إنه نلجأ للجمعيات الأهلية والهيئات الحكومية في إنهم يوفروا أو يعملوا خرائط للدعم، يكونوا كاتبين فيها الأماكن للجهات الداعمة وأرقامها. تمام. أو إن هم ينشروا فيديوهات توعوية ويكون ملحق بيها في الآخر أرقام الجهات الداعمة. كمان ممكن يوفروا جلسات دعم ويوعوا أكتر الأهل، يعملوا برضو جلسات توعوية للأهل، لأن فعلا زي ما هدير قالت الأهل يقع عليهم فعلا دور كبير. يعني حتى أنا لو المجتمع رافضني، حتى أنا لو الناس اللي يعني بعد مستوى الأهل مش مرحبين بيا، على الأقل أهلي الدايرة اللي أنا عايشة فيها كل يوم لو هي بتدعمني فعلا، مش هوصل زي ما حكت عن بسنت إنها انتحرت، مش هوصل لده، أو على الأقل هلاقي حد يدعمني نفسيا، فهقدر إن أنا أقوي نفسي، وزي ما قلت سابقا أقوي الحوار النفسي اللي أقدر بيه إن أنا أشجع نفسي. بس شكرا.
شكرا كثير لك هبة. Thank you هبة again. This is a question for Dr. Johnston. What are the common policy approaches and measures used by government or organizations and online platforms to combat online sexual violence? Dr. Johnston?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll put my video. Yeah, you can see me. I'll put my video off just to ensure the internet is stable from my end. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to this panel. I think, yeah, you've asked a very interesting question. I have been listening to the conversations in the room, and I must say, by the way, happy International Day of the Girl Child 2023 to everyone in the room and all the young girls who joined. I think it's a great initiative by YW4CA to organize this event, that's to be able to create space, even safe space for young girls to be able to young girls to be able to access this environment, but also just ensure they have support. Of course, yeah, I work here. I represent the Embassy of the Netherlands. And of course, the position of the Dutch government is known. And the Netherlands stands for equal rights for women and girls all over the world. Preventing and eliminating violence is also a priority of the Dutch human rights policy. So it's very interesting to hear different stories, experiences on how civil society and girls are able to are dealing with this serious problem that needs to be tackled. What are we doing as a government? Of course, Netherlands is part of the so many, as an international community, they are part of a number of conventions, whether the UN, whether it's Istanbul Convention on combating violence, among others. We continue to work with civil society to ensure that we take action and prevent this violence from taking place, especially against girls. And there are different ways in which the Dutch government has been able to support these initiatives, both in Africa, but also globally. For instance, we are supporting, providing financial support to consortiums like this one to be able to ensure that there are mechanisms in place to be able to address not only the different forms of GBV or gender-based violence, but also online violence, because we know, and we've heard from the participants in the room, we've heard from the experts that there are a lot of effects associated with it. It could be psychological, social, reproductive health, but even reputation and dignity, which I think must be able to tackle. So what are we doing? I mean, through our diplomatic efforts, again, we continue to engage with governments to be able to ensure the root causes, like the social norms, gender stereotype, discrimination. Online violence does not exist in isolation. We know that it is a form of violence, and it also comes from offline. Yeah, from offline, the normal challenges that we see. So we must really address the underlying causes of all this. One of the things that we are also doing, just to promote equality again, is also to ensure that we need to involve both men and boys in this conversation again, because they are also perpetrators of this online violence. Political leaders, religious leaders. So just bringing everyone on board can also help to ensure that online violence is reduced. I've had examples of experiences around cyberbullying, which is really a fertile ground for GBV, and also ensuring that there is little accountability. So what can governments do? What can organizations do? I think we need to be bold enough to be able to ensure that we work with all the players. For instance, strengthen collaboration, close collaborations with many players. For us, we're encouraging and we're working together to ensure, for instance, the issue of security, the issue of social security, and also social development. The work we do with NGO is also interlinked because of the specific role of security organs. For instance, the police, they are also involved in ensuring that justice is served to the victims, because girls are facing a lot of online violence and harassment, and they must be felt, they must be listened to. So we need to ensure that we have mechanisms in place that ensure that those that are victimized or really the persons that are causing all this violence can be able to be tracked. Of course, it is a weighty issue. Some might say because of data protection, because of safety, again, or witness protection. But I think we need to ensure that there is united efforts, brings private sector on board. For instance, we have these private sectors or these actors who are driving these cyber technologies in this conversation. Yeah, so, I mean, in addition to all the great experiences that have been shared by colleagues in the room and the young girls, I think we also need to ensure that there is enough safeguards to promote online safety and equality. Yeah, so I think, in my view, those are the points that I have at the moment. I'm happy to respond to questions that might come, but that's what governments needs to do. Yeah. Thank you, Margaret. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Koya. And Scholar, you can also share your opinion about what are the common policy approaches and measures used by government, organization, and online platforms to combat online sexual violence? Scholar, you can share your opinion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. And when we talk about policies, I'm tempted to think about the role of the government in these various governments. And let me start by declaring that I'm an advisor of the Kenyan government, and especially when it comes to the gender digital divide. And one of the questions that we keep asking ourselves is, why is it that women are more limited when it comes to exploitation and creation of digital content? And now when we get back into online violence, I'm still getting tempted to answer the question, why is it that women are disproportionately represented in the digital space? One is because of the safety and security issues. And online harassment is actually one of those safety issues that keeps women away from creating and participating in technology and digital, digital platform. Now, what is the government? And allow me to specifically talk about the government of Kenya. What is it that is happening to protect women from the insecurities that come with the digital space? One of them is the legislation and the legal frameworks that have been put in place. Allow me to say that Kenya has passed a certain bill, a bill on computer misuse and cyber crimes. I think it was passed in either 2018 or 2019, not very sure about that. But this is meant to protect consumers against some of misuse and the cyber crimes where sexual harassment and exploitation comes in. And that is one of the legal frameworks, of the legislation that is coming in or that came in from the Kenya government. In terms of legal frameworks, the government has put in place legal ways in which people can be able to report in case of cyberbullying, in case of, online harassment. But the big question, the elephant in the room is, are we aware as the consumers, as the young girls, do we know how, when, and where to report? Because the government is very clear on that if reported, then action should be taken. But as young girls, are we aware? And that calls for what some of the speakers have talked about, creation of awareness, so that the young girls can know how to identify what is actually sexual harassment online, what is sexual exploitation, online sexual exploitation, and report the issue to the relevant spaces and know how to follow it up. So those are some of the frameworks that have been put in place. The other one is, of course, laws on stalking, cyberbullying, and of course, issues to do with data protection. That I would want my information to be protected. And the government of Kenya is actually doing that very keenly, of course, partnering with other stakeholders. I've seen the UN Women coming at it to support matters to do with data protection, such that somebody should not extract my information and use it to harass me or to sexually exploit me just because my information has been linked somewhere online. Of course, the other one is creating policies that enable people to report. And when we talk about these policies that enable people to report, we need to sit down and ask ourselves, at what point should these policies be disseminated? Is it in our school system? Where does it become easy for the young girls to get to understand the nitty-gritties of these policies? Can we say that this should be disseminated at the schools forum, at the universities and all these others, so that young girls know that once an issue of online sexual harassment comes in or sexual violence, then they know this is where to report and this is how to report it. We are basically talking about consumers, ability for the young girls to be able to detect what is harassment, what is abuse, and to be able to report it. Of course, they have the policy, not just with the government, but with the other international players, is about content moderation. That is where you find that some of the online digital platforms, say Facebook, what we call these other platforms, I'm not even sure I know all of them, YouTube, Twitter, the Twitch and all that, they've got their own way of moderating content, such that if we realize that this content that is supposed to be abusive, it is not, and deleted before it comes to, before it comes to the public. So there are various policies that are being done by either the digital platforms, the government, or the international players to ensure that women are not harassed online. But that said and done, I think the most important thing is we as participants, we as stakeholders need to push the stakeholders, may it be the government, may it be the international communities, may it be the digital platforms, to ensure that women are fully protected and taken care of, and that consumers, not just women, but all the consumers of digital content are protected against harassment, against exploitation, and against abuse. That said and done, I don't know whether I'll be jumping the gun, but to say that talking of policies, having policies in place is not enough. What is enough is ensuring that these policies are implemented. I know in Kenya we have great policies on consumer protection. We have policies that protect women and all other consumers against cyberbullying, but are they being implemented? What we do at stakeholders, so that all these policies that are in place can actually see the light of the day, that they can be implemented, that you as young girls can feel safe using the digital space, that you as young girls can feel secure enough are creating and using the content on the digital space. And as you know, as the seniors in this place, that we can also feel safe dealing with the young girls and building their capacities to identify, to discern what needs to be put in the digital place and how to identify what is not good for their consumption and what is good for their consumption. Back to you, moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scholar, again. Hadir, you have any opinion you can share to us about the same question?
معلش ممكن نعيد السؤال مرة تانية؟ أنا آسفة.
أكيد. Of course, Hadir. What are the common policy approaches and measures used by government organizations and online platforms to combat online sexual violence? سمعاني؟
عندنا في مصر القانون أوكي. القانون والدستور كفل للكثير من الحقوق، وعلى رأسها الحق في السلامة وحرمة الحياة الخاصة والشعور بالأمان. عشان كده جرم القانون الأفعال وحدد لها عقابا رادعة. وحدد القانون اتحدد عندنا حتى عقوبات بتبتدي من 6 أشهر لحد 15 سنة، ودي بتحددها الحكومة نظرا لظروف القضية وملامساتها. بيبتدي الحكم إن هو من 6 أشهر وغرامة ما تقلش عن 50,000 وما تزيدش عن 100,000 لو في حد نشر صور حد أو من غير رضاه أو ابتدى يبقى عنده رسائل كتير هو لما يكون هو حابب الرسائل ديت، وبتزيد العقوبة أكتر، بتبقى ما تقلش عن 2 سنين وما تزيدش عن 5 سنين لو أنا فبركت الصور ديت وخليتها صور خادشة للحياة أو فاضحة ممكن تمس شرفه أو سمعته. ده بالإضافة كمان إن في غرامة ما بتقلش عن 100,000 وما بتزيدش عن 300,000. اوريدي العقوبات ديت شغالة عندنا في مصر وبتتنفذ، بس ده لو حد أصلا بلغ عنها. احنا كمان عندنا بندخل الأمان والسرية للي بيبلغ المجني عليها أو للضحية. بنكفل كمان للشاهدين الأمانة والسرية بحيث إن هي ما تتعرضش أي تهديد من بره إنها بلغت. بس إحنا ما عندناش كشعب أو كبنات وعي كافي أصلا بالإجراءات دي. عندنا مشكلة إن إحنا إزاي نعمل ده نروح نبلغ. عشان كده أنا لما عملت المبادرة كنت شغالة على النقطة دي. إحنا محتاجين كمنظمات مدني إن إحنا ننشر الوعي ده، نساند الحكومة. يعني أنا شايفة إن الحكومة عندنا خطوة كبيرة في النقطة دي، وابتدت حطت يعني عقوبات رادعة لأي حد ممكن يفكر يعمل ده، ونفذتها فعلا لما عاقبت الشباب اللي ابتزوا البنت اللي اسمها بسنت خالد واتحكم عليهم بعقوبات تتراوح من 5 ل 15 سنة. إنما مفيش بقى وعي إن إحنا نقدر أي بنت نقدر إنها تقدر الخطوة دي، بتبقى خايفة كلام الناس زي ما بنقول عندنا الفضيحة، نظرة الناس ليها. فإحنا محتاجين ننشر الوعي أكتر في النقط ديت على مستوى كل الطبقات عموما. دورنا يعني أخيرا دورنا لا يقل أهمية عن دور الحكومة، دورنا كمنظمات.
شكرا Hadir. Thank you Hadir again. Thank you all of you. Now with Rawan to topic 4 with Rawan. Rawan, you can hear me? Okay. So topic 4 with okay, topic 4, call to action. The question, how can we empower young women to overcome online violence? How can young women protect themselves in digital space? Okay, this is a question for Scholar.
Yeah.
Thank you once again, moderator. We are talking about actionable solutions. What can we do to empower women? I'm trying to read, to empower young women to overcome online violence. Overcoming online violence is not like a touch and go thing. It's a process. And this process must start by building the capacity of women. So one of the things that we can do is education and awareness. And when I talk about education and awareness, I'm specifically talking about digital literacy. Digital literacy to be able to enable the young women identify, design, and know what exactly to have put on online, what to consume, and actually what to avoid. Because without the digital literacy, sometimes we may find ourselves getting into spaces that are not good for our minds, that are not good for anybody. So I think the key thing is to start with education. And when I talk about education, I'm not saying that we start at the university level. We start at the basic levels of education, telling our young children what they need to do, to know about the digital space. Allow me to tell you that today young children as young as 5 years can actually operate their parents' phones and get to spaces that you cannot even think about. Our role as educators, our role as big sisters, our role as parents is to educate them on the hazards and some of the insecure sites on the digital platform, and of course create awareness on that. And then the other one is about support systems. When we talk about support systems, is about creating helplines that can help our young ladies just in case there is violation, harassment, or violence that emanates from the online platforms. Then we have safe helplines where our young girls, our young people can call and seek help. And of course, not just calling and seeking help, but also getting assisted to navigate and to sort out their issues. The other one is, of course, engaging the social media and technology companies. Why? How do we do that? Engaging them is ensuring that the content that they bring on board should be content that is not geared towards propagating online violence. And of course, this digital, technology companies have got a way of doing it. Actually, they can have what we call algorithm interventions, such that they develop and employ measures to detect and flag out abusive content that is likely to cause a bit of discomfort for the user. The other one, like I mentioned, is community support, where women can get into an online community, support them, to maneuver through these spaces. And just in case there's anything to do with violence, then they can have a community that can psychologically and mentally support them to go through this phase. And of course, in this online community, they can also talk about ways of protecting themselves. How do they shield themselves from the propagators that on the online space? And then the other one, of course, is the media literacy. Remember when we were talking about the body shaming and positive body positivity, we said that one of the perpetrators of negative intuition towards our bodies is the media. What does media tell us about our bodies? They say that you are not smart or you are not attractive enough if you are this way. I think what we need to do is the media literacy, so that the media does not come to the young girls propagating ideas that are biased. We need to bring to the attention of the media that for us to overcome the negativity that comes with the digital platform, the media should be in the forefront to correct any information that is misleading, to correct any information that is misguided, to correct any information that is likely to make our young people feel discontented. Of course, the other way of overcoming this is in terms of research and data. As we are talking now, we do not have concrete data that is shared, that is collected to show the magnitude of online violence. Actually, we are all talking out of imagination. I would want to see data collected and shared and supported by the by the government, so that we have tangible data showing the magnitude of online violence. And with this, the government and all the other stakeholders, like my brother here talked about the international community, offering support. But it would be very difficult to offer support if we do not know the magnitude of the problem. Allow me to deviate a little bit. When we had the issue of COVID, all the international bodies were able to come up and offer support. Why were they able to do that? Because we had data, tangible data telling us that this number of women are dying daily. This number of men are dying daily because of COVID. And that's why we were able to amass so much support. Without data on matters, online abuse, online violence, how then do we support it? Those of us who are in the development world know that support can only come if we have quantifiable data. And even as we set budgets aloud to sort out these issues, we need to have that data. So that is also another way. Let's get research done, quantifiable data given, so that even as we budget to come up with interventions to help women overcome this, then we can justify our resources. My brother who works in the international body knows that I work with, international organizations, and we know for us to support, to allocate a budget for that, we need verifiable data. And of course, the other one is global collaboration to come up with, to develop interventions, frameworks, and toolkits that can help us come up with practices, resources, and ways of empowering young girls to overcome online violence. The other one, of course, is about advocacy. As we are seated here today, we are doing advocacy, but is it enough? Can we open our mouths and talk about online violence, and especially for our young girls. Advocate, advocate, advocate. Use any channel that is available to you. Use any space that is available to you and advocate for missions to protect young girls and to become adequate enough to protect themselves against online violence. And of course, that comes with empowerment, you know, giving a voice, agency to women so that they are able to talk about it. I know there's so many women who are violated online, body shaming, you know, sharing of pornographic issues, you know, materials and content, but they can't talk about it. Why? Because of the stigma that is associated with that. Can we empower our women? Give them voice, agency, so that the more we talk about it, the more the world gets to hear about it, and the more it empowers other women to talk about issues to do with online violence. And of course, the final one that I would want to share is the media responsibility. We cannot underestimate the power of media. May it be what we call them, these the TVs and all these, the mainstream media or the social media. These are spaces that can be able to promote ethical reporting. And once that is done, the women will get empowered enough to know what to report, and then issues of violence will also decrease because of the ethical reporting, and reporting are things that build women and especially the young girls. Back to you, moderator, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you. Dr. Johnston, we want to hear from you. What's your opinion? You are mute.
And mute. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, I was unmuted. I was unmuted. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, after I've been following the conversation in the room as well as Keze was speaking. I think they say Keze is on fire. Thank you very much. I think, yeah, she's really put a lot of good points, things that needs to be done. And actually, I really like her perspective and her framing of the actions. They need to be solution oriented. I think for me, yeah, and I agree with her. She's talked about the need to have international solidarity and support, just like what we saw during COVID times. I think it's really imperative that we should also show our solidarity and all our collaborative efforts together to tackle this online violence issue. It's also, yeah, it's also a virus that needs to be addressed on the internet. Yeah, so for me, I think we must really work with young girls, and these young girls must be equipped to really navigate these spaces so that they must be able to be represented. We've talked about all these government structures, policy structures, decision-making structures. I think we need to also involve young girls. They must be represented, they must be meaningfully involved, they must be empowered and given skills. The toolkit that she has mentioned, I think in terms of how to navigate issues like data protection, whether it is use of apps, etc., etc. One of the things that also came into my mind as the conversation was going is also about the impact of online GBV. I think we know it's very dire. It has both deeply emotional and psychological effects. We also need to ensure that we are able to address the mental health, the social health, psychological issues that come as a result of online violence. Because if we are not addressing those, then we'll continue to also encourage or really ensure the victims continue to really suffer. Of course, what else? I mean, she's talked about, again, the need to shape up public awareness. We need to ensure that the public is very much aware. I did mention about online GBV is not unique. I mean, it's linked to the other offline form of violence. And there we know the usual issues that exist. Changing social norms, attitudes, and the way it's understood in the community, online, the way it's treated. I think these are also some of the things that we need to empower the young girls to be able to navigate this. Yeah. Safeguards, promoting online safety and also equality. Yeah, the way we know internet is rapidly changing, it's rapidly evolving. There's so many applications, there's so many tools that are coming up. As stakeholders, we also need to ensure our young girls are much equipped to be able to ensure that they are also keeping up with the rapidly changing environment. Countering abusive misinformation campaigns, targeting women, especially women leaders, public figures. And we've seen that in Kenya, we've seen that globally. And these are also linked to young girls who probably will be the next leaders, or that's where violence starts. So I think we also need to be able to counter these abusive misinformation campaigns that are targeting online that are targeting online presence. Lastly, of course, yeah, Kezia has talked about it, but I think we also need to create spaces for safe spaces for online conversations. A forum like this should not be the only forum where young girls are able to interact with experts, with their fellow girls, to also hear from their experiences, but also access support. So this kind of intervention should also be encouraged, and yeah, more and more and more. Yeah, so I think those are the points that I have. The rest have been really well canvassed with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnston. We will now move to the last topics with my colleague Batul.
Thank you, Rawan. Thank you, all of you. This topic is a question and answer. You can write your question, all of you, for speakers, everyone in webinar. You can write your question in a question and answer. Yes, and we have 2 questions. Please write your question and write to who you want to answer your question, please. Narendra say, doctor said something about online safety. What does the government intend to do to implement online safety? Okay, this for Dr. Kuya. You can answer this question.
So the question is, what can governments do to protect or ensure online safety? Is that the question? Did I hear you well? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think yeah. I mean, it was also discussed at length with my colleague here. What governments, of course, I mean, if I speak on behalf of Kenya, we've seen strong legal frameworks that have been put in place just to ensure that online violence is prevented, but also is addressed. Laws around hate speech, laws around or policies around discrimination. These are things that government are also putting in place to ensure online or digital safety. We talked about also the need to ensure that all stakeholders, especially the private actors or the players who are driving these cyber technologies, can also be able to put measures to ensure that online digital safety is guaranteed, but also violence is addressed. Yeah, just to be precise.
Okay,
Over
thank
to
you,
you,
Dr.
moderator.
Kuya. We have another question. Firstly, I would like to ask, does TikTok have a go limit on who to watch specific video? Most people nowadays post nude, other post themselves. Okay, okay, so the TikTok have a limit or a rule? This question is very complicated, I think. So we have another question. You have another question you want to share with us? If you have, please write. Okay. We have, okay. What is the steps for the cybersecurity to limit hacking and online blackmailing? Who want to answer this question? Who can answer this question? Okay.
Okay, not sure whether I'm answering that question, but I just wanted to put a rejoinder to what the previous speakers said in response to the first question in terms of what the government is intending to do to implement the online safety. And I'm speaking on behalf, okay, not really on behalf, learning from what the government of Kenya is doing. As I mentioned, the ICT department in the government of Kenya is coming up with a very comprehensive guideline on how to bridge the gender digital divide. And as I mentioned, one of the barriers of gender, contributors of the huge gap or the gender digital divide is online security and safety, and violence is one of them. So the guideline is actually supposed to inform or to show ways of ensuring that all matters that affect security and safety of women is well addressed. And some of the recommendations that are coming in, one is a very good reporting structure, the referral mechanism, the consumer protection, and of course, a legal framework. One, to support the victims, and two, to ensure that the perpetrators of online violence are well, I would say taken care of, but measures are taken to ensure that the perpetrators actually face the full wrath of the law. Thank you. I don't know, I'm not very sure whether I got the second question, but I just wanted to put a rejoinder to that on what the government is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, scholars. Thank you again. We have another question. Can you guide me to some online videos or specialized, please, to us? I can't understand this question. We have another question. How can us as an individual help our friends who have a problem in the digital? Okay.
Yes, yeah. Maybe just to respond, of course, I'm sure other colleagues can be able to respond. UN Women has developed a toolkit for youth online. Being asked to put my video on, it's okay. Yeah, so UN Women has, for instance, developed a toolkit for youth online, gender-based violence. I think this is a very good document that can be accessed by everyone. So we would like to probably ask the conveners of this meeting to be able to share this these toolkits so that it can be able to assist some of the young girls who are asking this question. I think the document is also, is in English, but it's also in different languages. Yeah, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jonathan. The question is ended, I think. We don't have another question. Finally, I want. Do you have a question? This is the translator. Okay. Finally, I would thank the speakers, all of you, are perfect people. You are great people, actually, and thank to webinar organizers. Thank you, YW4A, for this opportunity for me to be here with all of you. And thanks very much to participate today. Thank you, all of you, and for your time. And thank you, my friend Rawan, to help me. Thank you, all of you. In the end, I want to say the Gaza under attack. We in Palestine, the Gaza under attack. Please, prayers to Gaza, for Gaza, please. Support Gaza in internet and social media with a hashtag Gaza under attack or save Gaza, because a lot of people died from 2 days to nowadays 1,000. We have 1,000 people died, children and women died. 400 children and women in Gaza. Support Gaza, please, and prayer to Gaza, because Gaza under attack from Israel occupation from 2 days ago. Thank you all. Thank you for love, and be careful to yourself. Be good. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.